it back.
Certainly are, especially as Kalaris was mentioning there, with some of the best rotational play that we've seen so far this tournament, to be able to read that one like a book, and a very good one at that, hopefully for them. Maybe they've been reading a little bit of Nosferatu, some of the Dracula novels, maybe.
I see what you're trying to do here, and I was about to
Good,
say, you know, that's not the greatest book in the world, but we'll take it. You know, I have been to Whitby at least one time.
I was trying to think about books about vampires, and you know
what?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't mention Twilight.
Oh, don't. That's what I was trying to avoid.
I'm so sorry. But these guys, they really are putting on a series. We had the trilogy, and now we're looking at that third day. We started strong with that huge 24 limb game, and you know, it may have gone downhill just a little bit for Vampire Esports, but it looks like they do finish strong as well. But it will be up to these last 3 matches, because there's still quite a lot of points to be had here in the lobby as we head over to Erangel right now. DAMWON, USG, Rozhok, nothing's changed there, with his playing path being extremely kind compared to most of the others during this kind of small tournament. PMWI, I say small in terms of length, but it is huge in terms of the pride on the line here, in terms of the glory, the prize pool itself. So all of these teams really are trying to bring absolutely everything they can from the back of their arsenal.
Just scraping the bottom of the barrel there, trying to get anything they can, pop it in the pocket. Oh, look at this. Plane path was fairly kind. Georgia Paul down to Milter. A lot of places open, but the circle, a hard northern shift.
Yeah, up towards this northeast side. Now, Stalwart might struggle with this one just slightly because they're dropping over towards Nova Apnoia. We've already explained this before, but with an 18-team lobby, it's very difficult to have those secondary spots. So Stalwart's almost forced to head down towards Nova Apnoia right now. And with this eastern side on the circle as well, and them always crossing on the eastern bridge, they're going to come into contact with a fair few teams. You can also come into contact with a fair few of these teams as well, as long as you are watching together with us. So if you complete those daily missions to earn those points, once you have enough of those points and they are there, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
And participate in the event either solo, or you can team up with other players, both totally fine. And if you team up, it could be a little bit easier to get those rewards.
And you saw that little fancy graphic there on your screen there. That's for the PMWI gun skin and outfit. The sale period is from the 4th of August through to the 13th. That's 50% off PMWI packs. I repeat, that is 50% off those PMWI packs, so grab them whilst you can, because you will get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And of course, on the 14th, which is tomorrow, 14th of August, all the way until the 15th of next month, it will be 16% off those PMWI packs, and you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
Well, checking out the map at the moment, Nigma Galaxy over towards Pachinki, just about in this one. Falcons, though, over towards Morph in Yasnaya, just on that eastern side. They said they weren't going to change anything at the start of the day with a beautiful interview with Joy Boy himself, the coach of the team. And it looks like they are sticking to their guns here, but this actually presents a very good opportunity for Team Falcons. They may have slipped behind just slightly, but we saw them have fantastic results towards the end of the day yesterday. And now, with a few games to go, and again, with all the crowd cheering, that mentality is going to be there for them. I don't know how you could get down during this tournament with that kind of support. So I think Falcons can certainly bring it back. They grabbed some vehicles from down south, going to bring those back up to Yasnaya, so they have a fair bit of rotational tools in their pocket at the moment.
I've been called that before, a rotational tool.
A rotational tool?
That's right.
Okay. Does the interstellar music come with you?
Sure, why not? Absolutely. Certainly ages me plenty. But we're going to be getting on board at the moment with Nigma Galaxy, who last game, they didn't have a standout performance. In fact, they were caught up in that rotation from that southwestern island, but they closed the gap towards one of those top 5 spots quite significantly over RSG, a very coveted position for Nigma Galaxy to try and take a hold of. So if they can break out again this game, they might be with a chance of getting in for the after party next week.
Yeah, Nigma Galaxy now just 6 points behind RSG with 129 points, so there's definitely potential for them to ladder up here. Nigma Galaxy, I would say they're having a bit of a rough tournament. That's considering in 6th place, but that's just because I respect the team so much. I think that the guys from Iraq are doing such good work so far for themselves. I expected just a little bit more from this team, but I think 6th place right now, 123 points, bring it home in this last stretch right now. And they could definitely be seeing themselves a quick little jump up into that after-party showdown.
52 and VGS trading fire right now. There it is, 52. VGS, sorry, to pick up a point over on towards one of the 52 players. Nothing too dramatic, though, for either of these teams. They will just be heading away. Looking at where a lot of these teams are moving, DAMWON here, early rotation, right? This is something we've seen, I think you were mentioning this backstage, it's something they've gone back to, right? Just being early on those rotates and getting straight in the middle.
Absolutely. On the other hand, those Vivo Key directly sending into Jumper's building at the moment for Rivals, a little bit split from the rest of his team. Diego taken down. There will be a knock downstairs from the grenade, but absolutely no response from the rest of 4 Rivals here, who are nowhere to be seen.
No, nowhere near. Unfortunate to have to take that fight in that scenario with no backup. And Jumper will have fallen for the 4 Rivals. Not ideal. VGS, they managed to get an elimination earlier on, but Aton Esports have them in their sights. One shot will fall. Gaddafi under pressure as well. Needs to be careful in the climb on this UAS, but is going very, very slowly, spinning around out in the open as Senatexa sends on in to try and get a better angle, to try and get on this chase, try and get away. It's starting to smoke now, so not a lot of HP left on it. You can see the first level 1 helmet, level 1 vest almost broken as well. Far from ideal, far from what you want to see, but it looks like Aton are going to give up the chase for now.
Very unfortunate Bruno wasn't able to hit those shots on the target, at least being the actual driver, but he did hit a fair few on the UAS. It's not quite enough to actually bring the vehicle down with the explosion, so a little bit unfortunate. Goblin doing his best to slip out of the way there, crawling his way just over the lip of that hill. It's back in his vehicle, spots TJB, who have been residing in North George for some time now. They've rotated up past ruins. They will be in the path of TJB, but TJB very much aware of their location. These two teams been clashing almost every single map now, so this is probably one of those points where maybe just go your separate ways.
Potentially. I mean, it depends what Seoul want to do, because you've also got those other teams that they might want to guard, but then you get behind. Yeah. It's a decision they're going to have to make in these next couple of minutes. It's going to be absolutely crucial that they make one that's going to go well for them. I mean, Seoul haven't had the best of tournaments so far, if we're honest. They haven't had a great time of things, set down in 17th at the moment with 66 points. So picking up any points, laddering up, getting a little bit more cash in pocket would be excellent news for them.
Still representing, and that's the absolutely main thing. As long as you turn up and try and get something done, that's all you can ask. I don't think Team Seoul's put the brakes on at all during this tournament. It's just been a case where there's so many regions here. And honestly, this is probably one of the most competitive lobbies I've seen in a very, very long time. 18 team lobby, it doesn't always lend itself the best to a super competitive gameplay. But honestly, here, it has worked out extremely well. Yes, people have been forced into certain drop spots, but all these teams are adapted fantastically to it. Regardless, everyone has turned up, like I said.
Ooh, definitely spotted the player there. Got eyes on, but TJB are guarding out on the bridge. North George trying to stop the Wildcats from moving through behind them, but they haven't had much of an impact. They haven't had much of a slowing effect. Lin not really getting the damage that they were looking for, taking out the wheel of that buggy as well. X-Ray playing around this wall, spotted by Tingsker. Gets a lick of damage in, but it's not going to be good enough as X-Ray takes that tumble. First aid on board for Tingsker's. GK first echoes that result with another knock onto X-Ray.
TJB causing such problems in the standings right now, especially for Wildcats, and with this new circle heading right up towards the northeast side. Dennisbank Wildcats in 7th place with 112 points. Today was the day where they could have potentially made it into that after-party showdown. But with so many players going down, and Lux basically having to give it up right now alongside Boran, who is taking a couple of bullets himself. You know, this is one of those situations where you have 2 more games to go, and the Wildcats have to have unbelievable results in those 2 if they want to see themselves into the after-party showdown.
It looks like TJB wants to chase this one down, potentially. Xiao just trying to pick up this flush and ensure this point. And we'll be able to do so. Nice and simple there, but Wildcats will be getting away with 2, Lux and Boran, as they head in on the western side.
Virtual Game Squad up towards Severny, their secondary spot, usually liking to drop towards Lipovka, but this time around they dropped in Severny nice and early, and it's actually worked out for them, surprisingly. Box Gaming looking up towards 52 Esports. They're just trying to make themselves a little compound to share for some time. Try and stay away from a lot of this action. Fair few vehicles on board for these players, but don't want to get too ahead of themselves, knowing there is a fair bit of the game left to go. Scry just get knocked here by Nigma Galaxy.
Okay, and Ralph is looking to plink away, pick up that flush. Nigma Galaxy is starting okay. This is the team that we talked about earlier. Needs a good performance to jump up into those top 5. Taking on Stalwart, proving that's the way to do it.
Yeah, this is great news for Team Falcons, honestly. Obviously not the best news for Mongolia, who are looking to claim yet again another title here over in the PMWI. But for Team Falcons, this does open the gap slightly, with only 3 players on Stalwart looking to weather the storm in these final circles. Team Falcons starting up in Yasnaya might be able to find themselves a decent spot and maybe ladder up, but we know what Stalwart can do. They live and live on. They're very, very resilient as a team. Some would even call them Stalwart themselves. But honestly, this is one of their key factors. It's very, very good. It helps them in terms of that consistency where, you know, even if they get a bad start to the game, they still make it up towards that 1st through 5th placings.
Yeah. Taking a look at this, so this second circle pop, it's an even further northern shift right now. But a lot of the teams have actually already made it fairly deep into this circle. They've managed to find a lot of positions. We're still 18 teams alive, Blank. We're still 66 players alive. The most players lost on a single team were the Wildcats, and they were in that engagement with TJB that we just saw. So at the moment, it's been fairly quiet in this lobby.
You've got like this little triangle slice that heads up towards Stalba, just outside of Yasnaya, right, where it's just all fields. It's very, very open, so it's slightly awkward to play in, so you're just looking for some compounds in this area. Quite flat terrain, honestly, just above Yasnaya Polyana. Obviously, there's still the fields in place, so that's a big chunk of area that just cannot be played, which is why you do see this fairly even line just across the top side. A lot of teams just looking for beneficial areas. You can see Nigma Galaxy as well as Aton, Esports taking position up towards Stalwart. It's not always the best of spots because you do get circles like this, which may potentially not head up there. So you don't want to head up the mountain too early because coming down it is going to be one hell of a tumble.
Well, it does sometimes give you a little bit of control over that terrain, right? But it can be, as you say, very difficult to leave. It's not without its problems, not without its troubles.
Yeah.
Similarly, for Wildcats, with 2 players, they're going to really struggle to push past this glut of players on the western side.
Yeah, there's certainly staging in this area as well, so think of it almost like a staircase where, you know, you can play on various levels up towards Salba. But right now, it still seems to be a decent place to be playing at the moment. I think most teams aren't trying to move out there too early. Team Falcons just hedging their bets at the moment. They don't want to take it too far into the circle, rather just, you know, hold strong on this southeast edge. Morph at the moment. This is one of the games where, you know, we dropped in over towards Yasnaya and Morph want to stay in this one as long as possible. Shows exactly what Indonesia can do. But it's USG who made a surprisingly early rotate. But goodness me, the Wildcats once again harassed by TJB.
They will not let this one lie. TJB don't lose a knock either, but Seoul are on the case for a little bit of an answer now. It is traded off. Tingska will be able to get that answer out in the open, though. TJB have their player knocked. Lin needs a little bit of a rescue mission to be enacted here. Boran could prove to be a thorn in the side, but Hector gets across towards Lin's position. GK burst, I don't think they're going to be able to... Hang on a minute. They did. They managed to land the shot. They managed to stop this push, and now it's all on Omega to push in and get this res onto Hector. Not only that, there's another player there as well. TJB have rallied around Lin's down position. GK First will scout this out, and in they go. The duo from the back will swing around the side. Whoa. GK First taken low, taken out as well. A spray over towards AkshaT from Xiao behind the rock, and GK First will crawl to safety.
Quick smoke coming through from Xiao. Very, very concerned with his teammate's safety here. AkshaT off in the distance. Did get that nice off angle, but now he has to leave. And like you said, they rallied together so very well in that play. TJB able to hold strong for just a little bit longer. They have caused a lot of problems so far, taking shots at a lot of different teams. Still only 3 eliminations, but mark that up to 5 now with the rest of the knocks coming through. Boran, though, coming back into action. Takes down GK First from afar.
But they know where he is, and he's not really got too much to work with here at the moment. Boran for the Wildcats, last player surviving. Potential to go down first in this game. Representatives from Turkey struggling at the hands of the European TJB on the western edge. How much further can they go? I think that's the majority of Seoul taken out as we saw that engagement. AkshaT sent a lot more centrally. You can see them on the north side there near VGS and Nigma Galaxy. Circle does go their way, though.
Heads up towards that northeastern side, but Vampire Esports actually in a very good position. And considering where they drop as well, usually down towards Primos, they've made a very good run up towards here. So, you know, this is not one of the teams that I was paying too much attention to right at the beginning. So I may have missed their rotation here. So hopefully the desk will be able to fill us in on that. But they have got very, very well situated in this circle, surprisingly to me at least. There's that replay of the car basically getting sent directly back to the manufacturer, where it'll need a couple of repairs.
Certainly think so. I mean, there's plenty of shrapnel in the bonnet. Won't run like it used to. Never will, unfortunately, Blank. But
yeah, that thing will be ready in 2035.
if you're lucky. Maybe they'll have... Yeah, maybe it will. Maybe they'll be able to patch that one up. But Nigma Galaxy, they're going to patch up their position against the ingress from Donuts USG. Unfortunately, Amodi takes a little bit of damage, repositioning the buggy. Doesn't go down just yet. The reload from Missile gives him some respite.
Donuts USG made an early rotate. I think they're definitely learning from their mistakes as this tournament has gone on. You know, staying in Rozhok for a little bit too long, maybe getting caught off guard. Lightning tries to pass through, and, you know, same as his namesake, they're able to do it. DD falls, but USG, goodness me.
Oh, they are going to be able to hold the second wave of that approach from RSG, but there's still pressure from the off angle. Lightning's been spotted, has got the teammate next to him. GZ is there as well. They both made it through. It's treacherous hillsides now, as GZ can't turn up the hill towards Nigma Galaxy's position as they swing out to the eastern side. VGS have eyes on as well.
RSG were right underneath Stalwart down towards the south side, so they were very, very far behind, and this is a very typical RSG play. Just send it to the direct center of the circle and see what you can make do with it, but in this time, they have sent straight into the barbed wires of all these players and got cut up in the process. And that'll be RSG out. Again, with Nigma Galaxy still in the match here, this gives them great opportunity to ladder those 6 points at the beginning of the game.
Falcons taking on Stalwart. This is good news for the top of the table race right now. If you're a Falcons fan here in Saudi Arabia, Action getting taken very, very low, but does get away with it. In the meantime, Team Seoul eliminated. They will be out now, ranked 16th on the game. 15 teams remain, Blank. Oh, no
Horrific action. Yeah, out now, just top remaining. And Falcons, like we said before, they were patient. They waited for their turn in line, and now it seems that they'll be moving into the circle. And with Stalwart pushed out of the way, this is real opportunity to start making up those points from before.
Stalwart still have one player. They still got top, but it's on the outside there. Difficult stuff. Falcons with 4. One a limb on the cards. Back-to-back just over this ridge line. All looking to try and push into this compound. They will certainly see this US kill switch. Needs to be on the money for this. J-Way a little bit further down. Falcons yet to make that aggressive push. They're worried about the backstep.
See the smoke drop by top. They assume it's from that final player from Stalwart. Top just dropping on the iron sights. A lot of these players do tend to feel like the iron sights gives them a better shot, even at distance. We'll have the first aid, so Falcon really not letting these teams go at all. Morph, though, also in the sidelines, and Stalwart still has to move in. And with this circle down towards the southeast, Falcon They've been thrown a bit of rope, and they're going to start clambering up it.
Try and get to the top of that cliff. I mean, at the moment, the top of the table's pretty close. They did let it slip just that little bit down in third place. They started the game 12 points behind Vampire, 16 points behind Stalwart, who have just been eliminated now. So the further Falcons can go, the higher they'll fly.
Back to back. Somehow got that chicken dinner earlier today, doing some pretty neat work, but it was Vampire Esports that came in second place against them. It was very close at that. Now, Vampire Esports need to make a move off towards that eastern side, potentially. Right now, they've got Ravenclaw out the circle. It looks like they're just setting up the barricade versus a lot of these teams. They want to clear this western side, keep it as safe as possible, and play from there. Look at this little dugout they have in the rocks. This is going to be absolutely instrumental to their endgame.
Try and leverage that. Try and get something done. Back to back, engaging with Nigma Galaxy on their north side as the push comes through from the squad. Back to back, currently holding that compound on the top of the hill. We saw them push up to it earlier. Ralph looking to potentially get that res, but the backlines of Nigma Galaxy suffering as well on this aggressive move.
Yeah, that's one player going down already. Lord on knee, Ralph on knee as well. I think that's just one player up in Hamodi now. Real tough situation. Ravenclaw, what's this man been doing all his lonesome? Been providing so much good frontal fire for the rest of the team. Vampire Esports were able to scoop up a couple of points for themselves. Here's the nade earlier that put an end to Stalwart's run here on our angle.
Good job, just able to get that spray down. Spots the player in the bush. Nicely found. Vampire Esports. They are just sending bullets every which way and somehow finding their mark on pretty much everything there. Morph looking to engage. Rocky doesn't get the knock there. Back behind cover and has to push back through the smoke. GK first spotted on the off angle there for Ravenclaw. Nicely picked up. TJB thinned down yet again.
Has to drop to the floor. We'll have to just jump up and go for the quick peek. Xiao actually goes down, and that's the support from the rest of the team you're looking for. That does send Vampire Esports down to just 3 players now, but they are racking up points slowly but surely.
Box are on their north side with a little bit heavier firepower right now, a little bit more hefty as the Vampires do suffer. Down to 3. Fluketh, Stone, and Schweppes. Still a formidable squad to be dealing with, and it seems like they've turned back up, but unfortunately for them, there's a knock, and Schweppes taken low. A really beautiful spray from Break to really suppress that position. It will slow them down. A southern shift comes through.
A long nade, but not quite long enough here, and this might just give time for Vampire to resurrect one of their fallen teammates. Morph taking knocks from Falcons up top side. That's never alone there, who had such a good run yesterday in their 1v2 versus the Korean powerhouse of DAMWON Kia over on Erangel. So far, Falcons have been controlling this circle very nicely. Circle does come down to them now, but they've been playing it slow, safe, and calculated.
Nigma Galaxy still with 3 players. They've been able to pick up the pieces on the north side, and they are clearing that area. Very nicely found. I think that was DAMWON Kia who did go down to them on the north side. Falcons, though, engaged with Morph right now, all very low. But they are looking to get those heals off, and they are succeeding for the most part here. Morph staying alive in those smoke covers.
Vampire Esports will be them sending the smokes out as well. Box slowly crawling their way up.
Oh.
There's one taken down on USG from Break here. Missile just tries to send his way up, propelled by hydrogen up this mountain.
Vaz is still down in the dirt there, I believe, out in the open, unless they did get eliminated there. I have to double check, but yeah, maybe they did get... No, 52, still there, have their representative quite near to Box as well. Could prove problematic with that tiny little bit of cover out in the open. Vampire Esports finally able to take that Thorn out. As Missile fires down yet again over onto Break. Laid bare out in the open. Really not going to survive that. Tree not there in time. Only one player from Box now down the hill.
This is that deadly staircase I was talking about earlier. It's the staging, and Missile just took it for an absolute advantage. Nigma Galaxy, though, with 3 players still up right now and 8 eliminations. They have really gotten back into this one. Stepping back up to the plate now. Vampire Esports did a very good job to clear the western side from not the most amazing positioning considering the circle. I know it's time for them to start making this work, because honestly, after that first game, on the first day, we really expected great things out of them. And now they're starting to bring it back into form.
Donuts USG go down to a nade from Nigma Galaxy there as well, and the north side is starting to get swept. Vampire Esports will be their next obstacle if they want to push this way, but Falcons dominating the majority of this circle. A knock over onto Nigma Galaxy will slow their approach from the north side.
That's from Vampire Esports as well. We currently have 6 eliminations. Falcons currently only with 3, but they have caused so much damage in this lobby. If it was just a knock here and there, slowly but surely, they are really cementing their ground in a very formidable position on the map at the moment. Fluketh, though, with the nade. This guy was on fire on Erangel earlier on in this tournament. Now looking for a little bit more. Morph, 4 players alive.
Circle north towards Vampire Esports. A little bit more time there. Rocky did finally go down. The nade took the majority of that down red bar health away, leaving only 2 4-player squads alive. Falcon, Esports, and back-to-back. We've had probably some of their best results of the tournament so far today, but it might have been too little too late. Not so for the other teams.
Falcon, never alone with the MK14 in hand. That thing is absolutely brutal here in PUBG Mobile. The speed at which he can rattle off those shots is terrifying. There's Ralph. Nade up top side. Not easy hitting these nades from that kind of angle either. But they are in the trenches, and Nigma Galaxy know exactly where to send these nades in.
This utility usage absolutely on point. Polo shimmies out wide to the left. Low HP, spotted behind the smoke, will be going down if it is going to be found out. Vampire Esports are still on a frag, and they will be hunting. Morph, go down to it. We're down to just 4 teams. Plenty of casualties popping up, and Falcons, unfortunately, suffering 2 of them.
Vampire Esports just pulling out the broom and dustpan because they have absolutely swept this edge of absolutely anyone that might have even dared to have challenged them. Fluketh looking for a little bit more loot from downhill. They are really limited on meds right now. You can see Stoned, absolutely nothing on board to patch himself back up with. They'll be have to sharing those meds at some point, so they will have to group back together. But Vampire Esports, they have been on a warpath.
Hamodi really taking the fight to back as well. 2 players up and standing for them, but it's only 1 player now. Just Hamodi himself with a 1 versus 1 against Kill Switch. Finds some shots underneath the vehicle, looking for more, but spray down is there, and it's J-Way to stand up tall for back-to-back on the top of the hill. Can they get these reses and get back to 3?
Swings out wide. Vampire Esports tries to take advantage of the situation, but Falcons, they're too fast with it. They're right into the scene. Peregrines here in the battlefield.
Looking to get on that hunt. J-Way behind the buggy, taken down. 4 players for Falcons versus the Vampires.
The wings are wide span right now, and this is where they start to block out the sun. But that's 1 going down already. Stone finding it again. No meds whatsoever. This fight is one of attrition, and it absolutely is that Falcons have the betterment in terms of supplies.
And Youssef's position behind this crate as well, if it finds it onto Stoned, is great. But it looks like Stoned has the info that there is a player there. What can be leveraged from this spot as the circle moves more towards Vampire?
You can just barely see him in the grass if you're Yusuf, but that's mainly because we've got the X-ray on right now, so very difficult for Yusuf to even identify this. Question is, how much utility does Vampire Esports have left? And I think they've got absolutely nothing. Luckily, there was a loot crate on their side, but it's 1 apiece either side. Never alone, nade in hand. Stoned actually finds Yusuf, and he can't quite hit the shots. That takes him down to 2. Vampire Esports are making this happen.
10 eliminations up to 11 as Never Alone gets tagged. In they go with the push. Fluketh up to the feet as well. Never Alone knocked. It's all down to Powerful for Falcons, but the Vampires running up the hill will be able to take it down. It's Vampire Esports with a chicken dinner. What a resurgence from this team.
With absolutely nothing in the back pockets, in the backpack whatsoever. They just make this happen. Real bushcraft training for the Vampire Esports team. Good.
But they got some like those plateaus around Stalwart you can play from, and Vampire really were clearing a lot of the Western teams trying to enter from that position. So that's why you see such high eliminations this game coming their way. Is that plateau and cleared out like 3 squads in very, very easy fashion.
I think they're feeling the flow here as we take a look at the match rankings brought to you by STC, of course, with 28 points going their way after the previous game. I said it in the previous game, I think they were almost clairvoyant in where they had to go from circle to circle. However, this one as well, this was a test, a proper test, a Stalwart ending up on the side of this mountain as well, and they played it phenomenally. I'm very, very impressed by what we're seeing from Vampire.
Gentlemen, that victory right there for Vampire Esports was a $200,000 victory. Second place is $325,000. First place, $520. Well, I guess it's technically take away the 25. $200,000 nonetheless. They are currently in first place, but not only them. You have Team Falcons now chasing Stalwart Esports. You have Nigma Galaxy, who should have surpassed Regans Gaming. Regans Gaming should be out of top 5.
Yeah.
That is not good for that team coming in from China. But you have other Team Donuts as well trying to make a last-ditch effort, a resurgence here.
I would say an 11-pointer game is not going to be enough for Donuts. Like, they fell off way too much yesterday, so 11 points. Like, we need to see top 3s coming out from this team.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. And likewise for teams like TJB, etc., and things like that. 9 eliminations going their way, given these circles. Not too bad at all, but again, a little bit too little, too late for these kinds of moments if you're wanting to be aiming for the very, very top.
All right, well, go ahead, Max.
Now, I was going to say Nigma Galaxy, though, like, their push from, like, they were one of the bottom teams after day 1. Like, their push into top 5 is absolutely insane. So they get a few more games like this. Like, After Party Showdown, it's in the pocket for them.
Yeah, and it's going to be extremely fun. If you guys haven't checked out how the format will work, well, obviously you're going to find out in less than a week's time, but it's going to be all about certain achievements you are able to pull off within the actual match. But also, let's be fair, back-to-back. Another team that didn't have a good first 2 days. They got chicken dinner earlier on. Another 16 points. They're moving up the leaderboards. Realistically, top 5 should be what, Max?
Top 5.
I know